My own private autobiography. Who'd have thought it? Thank you, LifeBook. It began with them sending me a journal to make a note of my memories.
So Nigel, welcome, and thank you very much for doing this for LifeBook. You're one of our newer customers of the hundreds that we've done all over the world, and a local customer. I wanted to know a little bit about how you found us first.
Well, my daughter, who's 33 now, I've always told her stories about what I used to do in the past and everything, and sometimes when I hear her telling them back to other people, they're not exactly what I told her. And she said, look, why don't you write a book, Dad? So I said, well, I can't write. I can't even write an email sometimes. I'm not very good at that. So she said, well, can't you get somebody to do it for you? So I thought about this. I went onto the internet and I found LifeBooks. Gave them a call, and well, the rest is history, really.
Nearly history, yes. We're nearly getting to the end of the book, and we're going to see it in print soon.
Indeed.
How have you found the journey?
I found it really interesting because I discovered things that I didn't know about. I spoke to various people to remind myself of an incident, to make sure that it was right. Also, I'm a photographer by trade, so I also wanted to be able to give us a book of photographs, but to be able to accompany it with my life story was amazing. So I've been a photographer all my life, and in fact I've got photographs going back nearly 60 years because I started when I was 10 years old as a hobby, and I've been able to find all these photographs and put them in collages within the book. It's taken quite a while, but it's been something I've needed to do, and being able to have LifeBooks as a vehicle to be able to do it is marvellous.
That's great. And I think you also said that you discovered some photos of your mother from
Indeed,
early
yes.
1920s.
Yes, really 1920s. Looking through old books, there's always old albums that their parents had, and there was one that I found which I thought was my aunt's. I didn't know it was my parents, and I looked through it, and then I saw photographs of my mum, you know, when she was 16 in the 1920s. And being a photographer, I was able to scan it and to be able to improve it and everything, which I've used in the book.
Wow, so that's something we normally have to do because most of our customers are not photographers. so we improve the photographs because when we print them,
yes,
we're printing them on archive paper, as you've seen, and we need them to be of the highest quality.
But I've been putting together collages rather than, there's one or two single photographs, but mostly they're collages and describing particular incidents that are in the book.
So take me back a little bit about your interviewing process, because you met your interviewer for the first time, and did you get on well with them?
Sean, my good friend now, funnily enough, who lived nearby.
You've become friends with him now?
Yeah, I've become friends with him, and he's coming round to dinner when we got the book to see it. Lovely chap, absolutely delightful. And I wasn't sure how the whole thing was going to be done, but he put the little recorder on the table there and just started talking to me and guided me when I was going off piste, if you like.
Yeah. Kept you on track.
Kept me on track. And then after a couple of weeks, he'd been for the first time on the first draft and started reading that, and I got into the idea of how it was all done. He came for over a 6 or 7 month period, I suppose.
Right.
And it was always good to see him.
Did you find it all strange that the guy who was interviewing you wasn't actually writing the book,
that you
had a separate ghostwriter?
Yes, I thought I'd have the ghostwriter coming round and everything, and of course it wasn't. And
how did that work for you?
It worked very well indeed. I did get my wife to read it as well, obviously, and she's much better at me than writing and all that sort of thing. You can't say it like that, and that doesn't quite work. So gradually, lots of pencil writing up, putting the little X at the top of the page.
More critical.
Yeah.
But you've enjoyed the prose?
Very much indeed. I have had quite an interesting life, and it would be a pity for it to be lost. I mean, in the old days, people used to keep diaries, so you'd know. But of course, nowadays, people don't keep diaries. You know, they just have a life.
And who do you expect to be reading your life book?
Well, it'll be my daughter specifically, and her fiancé, who will know all about what I used to get up to in the 70s.
Right. Do they have any children yet?
No, she's getting married next year.
Okay.
And she's 33 years old.
So it's your as yet unborn grandchildren.
Yeah, hopefully.
We'll know all about
she's talking about having children, and I've had some quite interesting stories.
Well, that's great, and I look forward to reading it when it comes across my desk, because at the end, every book that we get comes across my desk, and we've already had over 5,000 books around the world in people's hands.
5,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Literally from Beirut to Birmingham. So join the club, and thank you very much.
No, it's been an absolute delight. Thank you so much.